A woman fainted at high altitude. As her body began to slip downward, the sensation of weightlessness jolted her awake. She tried to grab the cargo rope on the hot air balloon but was too late. When she opened her eyes, she found herself hanging upside down at 10,000 meters, where the temperature was nearly minus 40 degrees Celsius. She immediately called out to her companion in the basket, but received no response. As the balloon continued to rise, the temperature dropped even lower. She had to return to the basket quickly, or she would soon freeze to death. She began swinging her body back and forth, using momentum to increase the amplitude. After countless attempts, she finally grabbed the edge of the basket. She discovered her companion had indeed passed out from lack of oxygen. Without pausing to rest, she hurried to pull the balloon's vent valve, to descend to a lower altitude, but the valve was frozen shut and wouldn't budge. She knew the only way was to climb to the top of the balloon, and manually open the frozen valve. She began slowly climbing up the ropes. After half an hour of strenuous effort, she finally reached the side of the balloon. This was the most dangerous area. The surface was covered in a thick layer of frost, and one misstep would send her plunging into the abyss. She tried to use a nearby suspension rope as a safety line, but she couldn't reach it. In her daze, she thought of her companion fighting for life, which reignited her will to survive. She mustered all her strength to adjust her posture. She tied the safety rope around her waist, and finally reached the top of the balloon. She tried to hit the valve with her arm, but it was useless, so she carefully stood up, and stomped on the valve with all her might. The valve finally opened. To prevent it from closing again, she quickly pulled a knife from her waist, cut her shoelaces, and wedged her shoe into the valve. As the balloon began to descend, her companion gradually woke up, but before they could celebrate, she noticed snowflakes hanging motionless in the air. This meant the balloon was falling, much faster than the snow. They urgently pulled the ropes to close the valve, but accidentally pulled too hard and opened it fully. As the descent accelerated, they frantically threw out all items to reduce weight, but it wasn't enough. They quickly climbed onto the frame, cut the basket ropes, and jettisoned the heavy basket. But the speed of the fall remained terrifying. At the critical moment, the man suddenly thought of something. He told her to cut the inner ropes of the balloon. As the last rope snapped, the hot air balloon transformed into a giant parachute. The falling speed abruptly slowed, and the two laughed with relief after surviving the ordeal. Yet fate toyed with them once more. They were now heading straight for a dense forest. After a violent impact, the man fell from the frame. When night fell, the woman woke from unconsciousness, endured severe pain to rise, and repeatedly called her companion's name. Fortunately, they both survived, and helped each other stand up.